All right, so this would be the time if you're looking for a house in Tacoma to buy now. If you don't buy now, it would be almost silly, unless you can't do it, unless you're not able to financially do it. It would be really silly to not do it right now. Currently, I'm trying to do work while I'm doing this. S20. Currently, the housing prices in Tacoma, now I can't speak for other places, is hovering like this, right? So that means that it's not just flat and it's not going down only and it's not going up only, it's bobbing up and down in the water. And so with that bobbing up and down, prices, you can kind of say it's a stabilization, if you will, but prices are going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down in terms of housing that is out there. Now, some will argue, well, this is kind of just the situation because you have the time of year and all of that type of stuff, right? I don't know if I would believe that. Some are saying that it is due to, it's due to all the apartment complexes being built in Tacoma. I don't necessarily agree with that either. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you join the Discord down in the description box below. Definitely subscribe to the channel. I don't agree with that either. There are a lot. You know, you will see where there's development. Some of these companies, some are from Portland. Recently, there's a company in Portland that's coming to Tacoma to build not one, but 2 apartment complexes, right? And they said that Tacoma reminds them of Portland. The population growth is so stable that they feel that this is a good bet. That coupled with cheap land prices, they feel it's a good bet. It reminds them of Portland. They're not the only company that have said that. There are others that this reminds them of Portland. Tacoma does. So it gives you this, when you're looking at downtown, especially right now, you see nothing but construction sites all over the place, mainly along Fawcett Avenue. I don't know why, but Fawcett Avenue in downtown has gotten the lion's share of development recently. The landscape on that area is going to be way different in just 2 years. So this company from Portland is not only building the first building right the second, they're working on their second one later this year to start construction on that. That is how fast they're moving in the market. But even with all of these apartment projects coming online, dumping thousands, not hundreds anymore, but thousands of of residential units, that I don't think is even affecting the price. Right? I think there's a whole lot of different things affecting the price. Mainly Seattle is part of that. It's cooling down quite a bit up there. It's still expensive. But so that has taken some of the pressure off down here. You still have people who want to live up in Seattle, but they're like, it's just too expensive. With the same situation going on up there where you have this bobbling effect, it makes it seem like, okay, and sometimes even lower periods where it has dropped and bobbled and dropped and bobbled. It creates the situation where people are saying, you know what, I want to give this whole thing another chance. Because if I can afford something here in Seattle, I want to choose Seattle or somewhere up in this area. So it's helping stabilize things. And people who are coming in, they're seeing this like, okay, there's some stabilization going on. You know, the prices are not going to jump through the roof and there's prices even going down. So let me jump on it. Some people are selling because they're like, you know, there's been a lull here. It's not this, you know, upward shot. It's been bobbing up and down. So let's kind of, maybe now's the time to sell, right? It seems like there's a lot of stuff on the market, whether it is true or not. So a lot of people are wanting to sell. I think that is what's impacting Tacoma in terms of the price. So the price has dropped some on average. right? Now, is that a correction? Maybe, maybe. But there's so many different variables right now that you can't really say it is a correction because, again, there's the sickness, there's, the whole situation in terms of Seattle and, their price bobbing up and down. There is a flood of residential units coming on board. Most of those are going to be apartments. There are all of those. And it could be people are saying, you know what, I give up buying a house right now. I'm just going to move into an apartment. That could be taking the steam off a little bit. Could be. You have some people who are still fanning further and further and further out too. That's taking the steam off a little bit in terms of the market. But I don't think it's going to last. And in fact, I know it's not going to last. You literally have a situation between now, keep in mind too, school is back in session. So a lot of people have already kind of settled. They want to move in right as school starts because they don't want to disrupt their kids' lives. So a lot of that has already ran its course. So now you're seeing a cooling off of that too. To me, there's too many variables to say that there's some sort of correction going on or anything like that. I never believed that there was a property or a property bubble or anything like that, a housing bubble. I didn't believe that. It was just there was a lot of demand. There is still a lot of demand. The problem is we're starting to get into cooler months. And this is where people are like, well, we'll just wait till next year, right? There's still going to be people searching for homes. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to have that. But you have a lot of people who are saying, you know what, I might want to just kind of chill out. I think that's going to be best for me is to just chill out and just wait it out. So I think that we're going to see a definite increase. But if you're wanting to move here and the prices you're concerned, I would move here now and get a house if you can, right? Move here now, get a house if you can. It may not be the house that you've always dreamt of, but get something because it's going to go back up again. I think next year is going to even be worse. I think that right now we're seeing a little bit of a cool off. And who knows how long that will last. But I think as time goes on, it's just going to keep going up and up and up. Prices are not going to drop back down dramatically. You may see a few percentage points knocked off, but you're not going to see a massive, 20% decline. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think it can happen the other way, 20% increase. Absolutely, because it's done it before. But this is the time where you want to definitely get a realtor and say, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Tacoma. This is what I want to do. Part of the problem is people want to dart all over the place. Well, maybe I think about Renton or maybe Tukwila or maybe Linwood. I don't know. Maybe Tacoma. I'm not sure. Or maybe Browns Point over there. I'm not. That is going to create a lot of havoc because people don't realize this area is a massive, huge area. Huge. So you're talking a very large section of a metro region that you're saying, maybe these cities, maybe that city. And each city pretty much is a completely separate market when it comes to home prices. I mean, I can't stress that enough. It's not like my hometown where, once you go into certain neighborhoods, things get a little bit more expensive or a little bit less or what have you. You really have zones, like big swaths of areas that the prices may be really expensive. For example, Federal Way, homes there are going to cost you probably more on average than what you're going to find over in Puyallup, just in general. And part of that's because Puyallup's in Pierce County, taxes are going to be a little bit different. The demand's a little bit different. And Federal Way's in King County. And they're very close together, but the difference between Tacoma and Federal Way, right next door to each other, the price is going to be dramatically different. So you have to understand that it's not just picking and choosing and moving the dice around saying, well, maybe this city, maybe that city. Find a city that really suits you. Don't believe the hype about Tacoma and the negativity of it. More or less follow along. I mean, if developers have it right and they're going to invest millions and you're coming, and no offense, but you're coming here to invest a couple $100,000 or a few $100,000, there's a big difference. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're not taking a risk just because. They're taking a risk because they realize there is a lot of demand down here. There's a lot of things going in the right direction as far as Tacoma is concerned. A lot of things. There's some things that we definitely need to work on, no question. But it's going in the right direction. I think right now is that period where folks can regroup, and some probably are, who have been sitting here for a while. There's some people who had already moved here, and they're either renting a house or renting an apartment, and they're just waiting for the right opportunity. You have a lot of people who have a lot of cash, came from California, or they came from another country, or they came from, East Coast, and they're just waiting it out, who are waiting for the right opportunity. So, yeah, if you're definitely wanting a home now is the opportune time to get that ball rolling. Because once it starts to get into the rainy period, not a lot of people want to deal with that. Although it's probably a good idea to buy a house at that time or look at homes, because you can see if the roof, what type of condition the roof is in. But by and large, things start to cool off at this point in time anyway. Spring, it gets crazy again. So when you're going to see huge jumps in the spring for sure. Spring of 2022, huge jumps. 2022 is going to be a big year for Tacoma, just in general. All the projects going on in the city, it's going to be a big year for the city. So those, people minimize the whole fact, well, you got that little streetcar downtown. That streetcar affects home prices. The light rail system we have downtown actually affects home prices in the correct way, in the increased way. Why? Because we've seen so many developers build along the light rail line just in this last year. They've kind of ignored it the first 10, 15 years, but this last year they focused on it. And so you're seeing all these projects being developed all in the same general area because they want to be close to the light rail line. Well, that brings more attraction to the city. There's more of a demand. And so then you have a lot of people saying, well, heck, there's a lot of buildings going up. Maybe I can get a place. Well, they find out, nope, I'm on a waiting list. So the demand goes up, housing goes up, because now people are saying, well, maybe I'll buy a house instead. So it all correlates. But I would say if you're looking for a home now, you're looking to move to the area in the next year or two, and you're not really sure, and you're able to move now would be the time to do it. Not waiting, right? Now would be the time to at least get all your financial information in a row, getting a realtor involved, finding a location here in the city. It's not going to be the prettiest house. We're the city of old houses. You're going to probably find something like that. But that is probably what you have to do as opposed to sitting and waiting forever. There is a very limited supply of houses. We're going to reach that glass ceiling very, very close, very soon, of where you're not going to be able to put any more houses. It's starting to happen. Now, the city has taken some land that's on Pack Avenue here, that's vacant land, and I wondered what was going to go on with that. And that's going to be for affordable housing. Right now, there's a lot of homeless people living over there, and it's an old landfill, right? So the developer has to do a lot of stuff because it's an old landfill. But again, those projects help, but it doesn't really... It kind of does and kind of doesn't. These are going to probably be apartments. So it doesn't solve the single house situation. Single family homes, it just doesn't. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.